CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Michelob Light, an exceptional light beer with a rich, smooth taste. Chevrolet, with performance, style, innovation, quality, and the value that make up today's Chevrolet. And by Sharp Electronics Corporation. From sharp minds come sharp products.
Along with former Dallas Cowboy All-Pro wide receiver Drew Pearson, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back to Veterans Stadium here in Philadelphia. That is Jody Schultz, number 53, stepping in for Joel Williams with a linebacker spot for the Eagles. 1st and 10 Vikings. They trail by 9. Motion coming across. Alfred Anderson. Kramer inside handoff to Allen Rice, the other rookie out of Baylor, and he cracks down to about the 10. Jerry Robinson hanging on.
The Vikings can push this ball in the end zone and get 6 points, 7 points with the extra point out of this drive. Then they're going to be right back in this football game. Got a player down on the field, Anthony Griggs.
3rd year out of Ohio State. Played the most minutes of any linebacker for Philadelphia last year. And you know what? He's a neighbor of Carl Lewis in Willingboro, New Jersey.
Is that right? I wonder if he can run that fast.
2nd and 6 Vikings when we come back. Minnesota still on the short end by 9, but they've got a drive going and are trying to pull to within 2.
Come on, I'll race you back.
You gotta be kidding.
For Michelob Light?
Catch you later.
When a couple of guys really go at it like this for a beer, well, it is Michelob Light. The rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
Michelob Light for the winners.
Too bad you missed that night back then.
Yeah, but I made this one.
Michelob Light.
This is today's Chevrolet.
Performance.
Z28.
Camaro Z28. A Camaro that did a test track 0 to 55 in 6 seconds. A Camaro with remarkable new handling.
Z28.
Camaro. More beauty and a lot more beast.
Now that's a moving performance.
That's today's Chevrolet.
The Eagles medical staff, and they are still attending to 3rd-year linebacker Anthony Griggs down at about the 13-yard line, and he has just not been moving around.
It doesn't look encouraging. The way he's laying there, first of all, and second of all, there's not much movement. He's kicking his legs around. Coach Campbell has to be concerned about losing Anthony Griggs.
Chicago having no problem at all with John Elway, Dan Reeves, former Dallas Cowboy, now the coach out in Denver. And of course, next week, many of you will see the Minnesota Vikings take on the Atlanta Falcons or the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. And most of you will see the doubleheader game, the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys from Texas Stadium. That's where you got to strap your helmet on a couple of times.
That's right. It's a big game every time the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles hook up. We kept calling him Anthony Griggs because we couldn't see the number. We seen an 8 there, but the man down was Bigfoot, Dennis Harrison. He's up now.
Now we talked about the battle going on that left side between Tim Irwin and Dennis Harrison. Didn't see the cause of the injury, but he fortunately is able to go off to the sideline under his own power. 2nd and 6 Vikings. Their drive started at the own 21. They've gone 69 yards in 8 plays and knocking at the door. End around. And nobody bought the play at all. Dwight Collins. But Anthony Griggs stayed at home.
Who called that play? You don't run reverses against the Philadelphia Eagles. They are a stay-at-home team. They don't penetrate that much. They're very conservative in what they do. They pursue well, but they take care of their own territory first, and they smelt this play right out.
Look at the pursuit. Robinson, look at Kenny Clark, the nose tackle, and staying right there was Anthony Griggs out of Ohio State. A loss of 10, so now they'll go with 3 wide receivers. Terry LeCount, Leo Lewis, Sammy White, all in there for Tommy Kramer. Leo Lewis comes out wide to the left side. Sammy White and Terry LeCount are a slot formation at the top of your screen. 3rd and a bunch. 16 for Kramer. Alfred Anderson, the former quarterback, the dipsy doodle. Kramer's all alone at the 10. Touchdown Vikings.
That's why they call the reverse, to set that play up.
20 yards from Alfred Anderson. We told you he was a former quarterback in high school, and Campbell, the Swamp Fox, he can't believe it.
Well, you expect, that's a good play, a halfback option pass. A lot of teams have that in their offensive system, but when you throw it back to the quarterback, here's Kramer, and you're saying, oh no, why is he handing it off in this situation? And Anderson tucks it away, sets up strong, and just slangs it out there to Kramer. Over the shoulder catch by Tommy Kramer. Look at that speed by that quarterback.
Great throw by Anderson, though. He's running right, throwing back across his body, and he had some mustard on it. Jan Stenerud opened the football game with a field goal. And the veteran, a chip shot extra point, rams it through. So we've got ourselves a football game once again. The Eagles have 4 field goals. Vikings with a field goal at a touchdown. It's a 2-point Philadelphia lead with 13:30 left to play.
You may get copies made outside your office because you think you can't afford a copier. Well, the truth is you can't afford not to own one. Because now there's the surprisingly inexpensive Sharp Z60 mini copier. It's simple to maintain, a cinch to operate, and delivers plain paper copies in a variety of colors. So get the inexpensive Sharp Z60. You don't know what you've been missing. The Sharp Z60, from sharp minds come sharp products.
You could use one kind of paint if all your painting needs were the same. But different surfaces, indoors and out, need different kinds of protection. Hi, Pat Summerall. That's why True Value hardware stores manufacture their own complete line of True Test paints and stains. And they make it easy for you to choose the right finishes for your lifestyle and budget with 3 grades. Economical True Test Special, Popular True Test Select, and Premium True Test Supreme, exclusively from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Emergency medicine, the profession, and the private lives.
What time you finish work?
Quarter after you go away.
Elliot Gould stars in ER, Sunday, September 16th.
We've got 13:32 left to play. The Vikings on the short end by just 2, but 2 long sustained scoring drives. The difference, the Eagles had to settle for a field goal. The Vikings got 7.
That's right. That's why they're back in this ball game.
Low, wobbly kick. Bounces away from Andre Waters from Cheney State. Penalty flag is down. This one will be coming back. Looks to be a holding call or a clip against Philadelphia. A 23-yard return, but Philadelphia, as they did late in the first half, hampered by penalties, already walking back at about the 15. Here's Jim Tunney. In talking with Les Steckel last night at the Viking Hotel, he really wasn't emphasizing winning as far as his program is concerned. He talked about work ethics, and he's trying to instill a new kind of system with the Vikings and thinks it'll pay off later on.
Well, he's into player development.
During the run back, 10 yards, first down.
As we hear from Jim Tunney there, Les Steckel had mentioned that he's into player development. They even have meetings set up every Saturday morning for the players from business people around the community of Minneapolis, St. Paul, to try to get the players accustomed to the business world and try to take advantage of those work habits he's trying to teach the players.
Eagles need to put some points on the board. They can't sit on a 2-point lead with Jan Stenerud, the place kicker for the Minnesota Vikings. Jaworski will go airborne, first down, pump fake. He wants Kenny Jackson. Jackson open for a moment, comes back, and no penalty call down at the 42-yard line. Jackson was spun around by Willie Teal, but it was incidental contact.
The ball was underthrown. Jaworski pumped the ball, and Jackson made a move, but kind of ran out of Jaworski's throwing range downfield. See on the ISO, there's really no contact there. Teal's trying to grab Jackson, but he didn't get nothing, luckily. And the ball was underthrown. Jackson almost came back and made a heck of a catch.
Privately, some Eagle coaches will tell you Jaworski does not have the long ball any longer. He can still deliver the short and the intermediate range passes, but really can't throw that big 50-55 yarder. 2nd and 10. There's an intermediate down to the 20-yard line, and Michael Haddix, good hands, hangs on, as does Tommy Hannon.
That's a good play for 2nd and 10. It's a safe play. You're in your own territory. You don't want to get too fancy down there. But what it does is create a 3rd and 5 situation. So it makes it realistic now to pick up this first down.
I like what John Spagnuolo said at practice the other day when we talked to him about Ted Marchibroda's offense. He said, in our new offense now, we attack the opponent's personnel, not just the system or spots. We attack specific personnel. And
that's right. That's a key because, you know, a lot of plays, fans think that they're designed to go all the way, but a lot of plays are designed just like that to get some yardage and create 37 situations like this.
Eagles need to pick up a first down, otherwise the Vikes will have good field position. Here comes Minnesota. Jaworski under pressure, ducks out of it, loses the football at the 12-yard line. Pile up, and the Vikings have it 1st and 10. Randy Holloway forced the fumble. Robert Cobb right there, Johnny, on the spot as well.
My, how things can change. The tide is really turning here. Great field position for the Vikings. The player down on the field hurt. Can't see his number.
Marion Campbell has to be very concerned because just a couple minutes ago, Philadelphia was sitting on a 12-3 lead. All of a sudden, the Vikings get the touchdown to pull to within 2, and now they start to drive from the 12-yard line of Philadelphia. Injured player is Doug Martin out of Washington. Watch Robert Cobb force the fumble, and Randy Holloway is right there to fall on it.
Well, this is what the Vikings were looking for, some pass rush, and they're getting it in this game, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Jaworski. When you feel that pressure come, the quarterback has to tuck that ball and put it away and salvage the play and get something out on the next play.
Hey, Ken and Sarah! Hey! Hi! My new Chevy S10 is great!
Glad you like it.
And I love the price. $59.90.
$59.90 with transistorized ignition.
Standard.
4-speed manual transmission.
Of course, tough double wall construction. And more legroom than any full-size regular cab pickup. For $59.90, it's one tough truck.
Smart guy.
Smart and tough.
That's today's Chevy truck.
Come on, one more.
No.
For the championship of the entire civilized world.
I'll pass.
And a Michelob Light.
I'll serve.
Would good friends really play this hard for a beer? It is Michelob Light, the rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
I thought you were tired.
Nope, just thirsty.
Michelob Light.
Time left in this football game. The Eagles have a 2-point lead, but the Vikings, after that fumble recovery by Randy Holloway, knocking on the door. Wide receivers left and right. Out wide to the left side. Mike Jones. Sammy White to the top of your screen. Alfred Anderson. He's got great speed. He has got it down to the 1-yard line. Ray Ellis and Wes Hopkins bumped him out of bounds, nicknamed the James gang, but they got there too late. Anytime you see a running back with that kind of speed running away from your secondary, you got a problem.
Well, you know what the problem is to see Marion Campbell upset on the sideline and what's happening out there and trying to get some people in there to stop Minnesota from scoring. But, you know, you don't get a chance to scout a back like Alfred Anderson. You don't really realize he has this type of speed because you haven't seen him before. He didn't play much last week, and they have nothing to go on. But I guarantee you, after this game, the teams around the National Football League are going to know about Alfred Anderson.
The rookie out of Baylor, 13 carries, 92 yards. His first start, he only found out about it 4 days ago, 3 days to practice and learn a brand new position. Great move there on the delay. He gets 1 yard, a tough 1 yard, all on his own because the blocking had broken down. Ray Ellis grabbed him up high, and going down low is Wes Ellis.
Well, the Eagle defense in this situation needs to rise to the occasion and get aggressive down here. And you can see the handoff to Anderson. Linebacker Joel Williams misses him, but the secondary comes up and puts the stops on Anderson after a gain of 1 yard.
You remember the first game you played in as a rookie. Were you nervous?
I was very nervous. You know why? Not because of any defensive backs, because we played the Chicago Bears, and they had a man in the middle by the name of Dick Butkus. And he just kind of made everybody on that field nervous. And I wasn't playing that much. I was only on specialty teams, but I guarantee you I didn't even want to go on the field in that situation with Butkus around.
Butkus ever talk to you?
No, thank God.
Did he growl?
He growled quite a bit, and it put some fear in a lot of offensive linemen's hearts.
3rd and less than a yard. Now Ted Brown is in on offense for the Minnesota Vikings. Dennis Bigfoot Harrison Word from the Eagles bench, a pinched nerve. From the 2-yard line, 3rd and less than a yard. 3 tight ends, Steve Jordan, Mike Mularkey, Don Hasselbecker in there, along with Teddy Brown. Motion across by Jordan. Ted Brown dives inside the right side behind Terry Tausch and Jim Huff.
No touchdown, but they got the first down down here, so now they get four downs to get 1 yard.
Greg Brown submarined and went down low, but not before Ted Brown went up over for the first down. Jim Tunney will unstack.
I guess Ted Brown feels a little better after watching Alfred Anderson run the ball. That kind of makes your injuries go away a little quicker.
That leg healed up real quick.
That's right. He's back in there now.
Well, Jim Tunney is called for the chain gang once again. This is a very big series, of course, for both teams, because if the Vikings have to settle for a field goal could win it for Philadelphia. If the Vikings get it in for the touchdown, the Eagles would have to come back with a touchdown of their own to win.
That's right. Well, there's a lot of time left, and regardless of what happens, the Eagles need to get a drive going and get themselves back in the game offensively.
I don't know why we measured that one. That was good by almost a full yard.
Wasn't even close.
Get that in the shadows down there.
I guess so.
That's Alan Rice, the other rookie out of Baylor. Tommy Kramer has 2 rookie backs from the Baylor Bears. He's missing Joe Sensor, his tight end, and he started a second-year wide receiver, Mike Jones, from Tennessee State. Quite a change in complement for the team that lined up for the Vikings last year. He's got to get those rookies set in a new alignment. Motion across by Steve Jordan. 1st and goal. Alfred Anderson. Talk about a hole. A moving van goes through there. Tim Irwin, Terry Tausch.
Some blocking on that play. Just clear it out. Just that what the new blocking in the National Football League, that drive blocking. No finesse, all strength, all muscle, all power. Just blow them off the line and let the back find the daylight.
That is his first touchdown. Alfred Anderson's as a professional. Had a great career at Baylor. Running back. High school quarterback. Completed a touchdown pass of 20 yards to Tommy Kramer to pull Minnesota within 2. And he walks into the end zone to give Minnesota their first lead since the opening quarter. Jan Stenerud out of the hold of Steve Dills will try to make it a 5-point Viking advantage. He does. Minnesota leads by 5. Eagles ball coming back. 11:49 left to go. A long way to go, but the Vikings have taken command of this football game.
Sarah, do you get the feeling we're being followed?
They're coming over to Chevy Cavalier.
You better explain.
Well, some come to Cavalier for the comfort, some for the quality, and some for the fuel-injected fun of it.
But all these people.
Well, over 1,000 people, just like these folks, buy a new Cavalier every day. They've made Chevy Cavalier the best-selling car in America.
More than 1,000 people every day?
Well, Ken, everyone loves a winner.
Cavalier, it's the best-selling car in America.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Out here, I'm the boss. But a few years ago, I felt foreign countries were telling me how much fuel I could have. Now I hear Phillips has geared up 2 super refineries for oil that's tough to work with. Stuff America has lots of, but refineries wouldn't mess with before. I can use any fuel, but I buy Phillips. They're helping us use American oil and be our own boss.
Fine products for you and your car from Phillips Petroleum, the performance company.
Do you love a mystery? Angela Lansbury does.
Someone killed Sherlock Holmes.
America's best-loved sleuth is hot on the trail of murder, she wrote, coming soon.
A lot of time left, but the crowd, and you would have to venture the Eagles coaches, are stunned because 2 very quick touchdowns by the Vikings have turned this football game around. It was 12-3, and all of a sudden they look up and they're behind by 5. A high end-over-end kick. Joe Hayes at the 2. Hits the wall at the 20, and had he hurled over that wall, he had a lot of AstroTurf. Penalty flag is down. Walker Lee Ashley, the man that got there first for the Vikings on a 19-yard return, but if this goes back against the Eagles, they're going to be starting back at about the 10. Let's check the call. Jim Tunney is out there, and we'll straighten this mess out.
Let's go, D.
Tunney has spotted the ball at the 22. It is holding against Philadelphia. That's not the way you want to start a drive.
Holding, 57, half the distance to goal line.
Lots of action around the NFL today, but following football here on CBS, following yesterday's great semifinal clashes, Connors and McEnroe, Lendl and Cash. Boy, they played all night.
Marathon.
McEnroe and Lendl. You don't think that'll be a spirited match, do you?
Great matchup. Great matchup.
Those two will spit nails across the net at each other.
Number 1 against number 2. Can't ask for more.
They don't like each other a whole lot either.
No, they don't.
They're like the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Well, nobody kind of gets along with McEnroe that well.
Pitch back to Wilbert Montgomery. Gets a good block and then cuts it back to the 12-yard line. A short pickup and a great hit. Coming across, that was Dennis Johnson. But a man who also came across with a big play was Randy Holloway.
Well, this Minnesota Viking team has hung in there, and now they got the lead in this ball game. And you know, one thing Coach Steckel said last night is that his team last week, even though they were getting blown out, was still out there hustling and playing hard. And it kind of carried over into this game. They fell behind in this game. They still kept hustling, kept playing hard, and now they got the lead.
That's what Wilbert's done this afternoon. He needs 20 yards for Steve Van Buren's all-time Eagle rushing record. 2nd and 9. Eagles need first downs. They don't need yardage from Montgomery in terms of records. They need some first downs. All alone, Montgomery. But he dumps it off. Jaworski gets it to Haddix. Almost looked like a busted play.
Pressure from the defensive front for the Minnesota Vikings kind of disrupted that play a little. And Haddix said, hey, look what I found.
You know, you talked about Les Steckel and the fact he was so proud of the Vikings that they were still blocking and hitting late in that ball game, the blowout to San Diego. He told us last night the wide receivers on the pass pattern, they were even downfield blocking. You buy that?
Well, that's what he was most impressed with, the wide receivers downfield blocking. But I guarantee you, if they were downfield catching passes, it might have been more effective.
3rd and 5, 10-17 left to go in this football game. Not a crucial 3rd down, but certainly a big play for Ron Jaworski now because they're deep in their own territory and the momentum is shifted to Minnesota. Underneath, Haddix, great catch, needs a blocker, spins off one, fights to the 21, dives, and he is close to first down yardage. I think he had to get to the 21. I think he is just a little bit shy, however.
Good effort by Haddix, but I think he came up short on the play. Might be close enough for a measurement.
Jim Tunney, the referee, calls for the chain gang. They're on the near side. Haddix might have just stretched it out. From our vantage point, it looks like he had to get it across the 21, and there's no hash mark because of the 0 numeral there.
Well, you know, a lot of times, Jim, it's the spot that counts here. It's how that referee spots the football. Is it enough? Do you go for it?
About 2 inches.
Real short. You got to punt it away, though. You get too much time left on the clock.
Well, the Philadelphia players were concerned. The coaches wouldn't talk about it, but the players were, because from a realistic standpoint, if they lose this game against Minnesota, they're 0-2. You have to go down to Dallas. The 49ers come in here, and then on the road at Washington. Some Philadelphia players told us privately, said, hey, we could be 0-5.
That's right. And those 3 games they got coming up, those are the 3 top teams in the National Football Conference going into the season.
4th and 2-3 inches. Do you like the call? Do you think if you can't pick up 2-3 inches, you don't deserve a football game, do you?
Yeah, but it's a tough situation. You're in the 20-yard line. You got to punt the football. Too much time on the clock. Great punt.
Horan hangs a high one. Rufus Best backed up to the 27. He's got some blockers. Best to the 35. Chopped down at the 37-yard line, and there is hitting on the specialty team. Eagles and the Vikings fired up a 52-yard punt, a 10-yard return. There's a penalty flag down at the 49-yard line of Minnesota. So Jim Tunney will have a conclave with his fellow officials. Fans didn't like the punt on 4th and inches. Now, I recognize what you're saying, because if you don't pick up the first down, you're in a chip shot field goal situation for the Vikings. But when you've got a Wilbert Montgomery and the game's on the line, your offensive line has got to take command. You've got to be able to pick up a couple inches.
That's right. You don't even need Montgomery. You just need a quarterback sneak. And if he can just fall on top of the center, he's got the first down. But in this situation, you got to play the percentages. And that's what Coach Campbell did on this particular situation.
Well, you play a numbers game. 17-12 Minnesota. If the Vikings get another field goal, it's now a 20-12 lead. That's an 8-point margin. So that puts it out of range.
That's right. But what he's doing, he's putting pressure on his defense. He knows he's got to give up that chance to go for the first down, even though it's inches away. But he's putting pressure on his defense to stop these Minnesota Vikings and get the ball back for their offense to have enough time to get a drive going and win this game.
Penalty will hurt the Vikings. Of course, another thing that we haven't talked about is when you do punt it away, there's always the risk of a turnover.
That's right. There's Campbell, he seems pretty satisfied with his decision to punt the ball away, because the penalty put the ball back inside the 20.
He's not a stranger to Viking fans.
Personal foul.
Jim Tunney with the call.
Walking a man out of bounds, 15 yards. It's penalized from where the possession was changed at the 30-yard line.
So a very
Ball
costly.
put in play at the 15, first down and 10.
A costly and long explanation from Jim Tunney. I started to say about Marion Campbell, he's no stranger to Viking fans. He was a coach for the Vikings back in '64, worked on the defensive line, and these names sound familiar. Carl Eller, Jim Marshall, and the Purple People Gang.
Oh, they were tough. They were tough. A lot of experience, a lot of intensity. Great front four.
1st and 10, Minnesota. They've got a 5-point lead. 9:34 left to play. Tommy Kramer works with the young rookie. And there is a rookie mistake. Kramer spun and there was nobody there, but they maintained their poise and they turned nothing into something. 5-yard pickup for Alfred Anderson, who's got a touchdown pass to Kramer from 20 yards. He's got a 1-yard touchdown walk because the hole was the size of Drew Pearson's car.
Well, these are the types of things when you have rookies in the backfield. He starts to go one way, but he's fast enough to come back the other way. And little mixed direction play, and picks up some good yardage on the play. 99 yards rushing today for Alfred Anderson in his first start in the National Football League.
Bad way to break in. Wide receivers left and right. To the left side, Mike Jones out of Tennessee State from Grambling. The 9-year veteran Sammy White, top of your screen. 2nd and 5, Kramer. Go with what brought you to the dance, folks. Alfred Anderson cracks up to the 25. Wes Hopkins on the tackle. Philadelphia, of course, has to get that football back. Field goal doesn't do them any good at all. They need a touchdown.
Well, now Philadelphia has 2 opponents. Number 1, the Vikings, of course, and the second opponent is that clock. They have to work that clock and try to get that ball back for their offense. They don't want to wait there till that clock runs down to 4, 3, 2 minutes and left in the game. They need to get it back now and get those points on the board.
The one thing that one of the Eagle coaches told me was that you don't want to get into a situation where Jaworski has got to take the Eagles on a long drive late in the game. I mean by that in the 2-minute drill, because he just doesn't have that long arm anymore that can get you that 55-yard completion. Alfred Anderson, convoy left, cracks up near the 30-yard line. Joe L. Williams clinging to him.
Well, the Eagles defense is getting tested. They had trouble stopping the run last year. They were way down as far as statistics are concerned. I believe 27th in the league as far as stopping the run. And they're relying on their run defense to get the ball back for their offense. So they got to toughen up and dig in a little better and quit this penetration by stop this penetration by the Minnesota Vikings.
18 carries, 107 yards for Alfred Anderson. But if you're an Eagle follower, it shouldn't come as any surprise because last year there were 8 rushers who gained over 100 yards against Philadelphia. 2nd down and 5. Tommy Kramer looks over that 4-3 front, or the 3-4 front, excuse me. Alfred Anderson getting a little conservative and a little predictable.
Yeah, well, this is going to create a tough 3rd down situation for the Vikings, and this is where the Eagles have to rise to the occasion. Now the pressure's on their pass defense. Can they stop Tommy Kramer in this 3rd down situation?
Final in from New Orleans. It didn't take long. New Orleans 17, Tampa Bay 13. So John McKay's 1984 season starting out the way his 83 season began. Third and 6. 6.5 to play. You know what this means.
Talk about being conservative.
And you've talked about the discipline of the Eagles defense. That time it paid off. Byron Darby, Kenny Clark.
Jim, this could be the shot in the arm that the Eagles need to get the momentum back. Hear the defense there.
How about a difference in philosophy now between Les Steckel and Bud Grant? You never saw Bud Grant that conservative late in the football game. With an offense with wide receivers like Sammy White, Terry LeCount, Leo Lewis, you're going to throw the ball in 3rd.
That's right. Plus, you had a 3rd and 6 situation, so you got plays there in your game plan that are safe passes that you throw to the sideline or passes that you throw. And if there's no receiver open, just throw the thing away and let's punt the ball and hope our defense can stop the Eagles.
That's what Greg Coleman's done, but maybe his most important play was to go over to the Viking bench and say, wait a minute, we don't have 11 guys out here. Now the 30-second clock winding down. You could see Coleman screaming. On the specialty teams, a mix-up, and Alan Rice, the rookie out of Baylor, has had a good game on offense. Forgot to put his helmet on and get out there.
Well, in Dallas, if you miss something like that, it would cost you about $200. So it's worth it to know what team you're on.
Around the NFL today, we told you New Orleans by 4 against Tampa Bay. Cincinnati trailing Kansas City. Boy, Kansas City offensively has really put it together in their first 2 games. They've got a nose knocker going on down at Fulton County Stadium. Lions lost a squeaker in the last play of the game to San Francisco last week. Monty Clark's not going to have any fingernails left by midseason. Greg Coleman standing back at his own 7. Eagles should have good field position, and another mistake.
Another delay. The clock ran out again. Greg Coleman's clapping his hands, acting like they wanted to do that. I can't see any logic in it. It's going to give the Eagles great field position. And Coleman's not really noted for his distance as far as a punter. He's great at placing the football, but he's not really noted for his distance in his punts.
How about Philadelphia? Do you try to block this kick now, or do you set up the return?
I would set up the return.
They've got it set up on the right side, a high spiraling kick. Cooper will field on the run at the 34, but he was running backwards. Gets a block to the 40, and is knifed down at the 41. Still good field position for Philadelphia. They start from their own 41. And as Drew Pearson pointed out, they've got 2 opponents right now, the Minnesota Vikings and the clock. 5:22 left to go, and you can see the intensity on the specialty teams. Ray Ellis out of Ohio State mixing it up in front of the Viking bench. That's not where you want to start throwing fists.
No, a penalty can hurt. If a penalty's thrown against the Eagles, could put him out of this good field position, and you don't want to get any fights in that right now.
Don't forget, we've got great tennis action coming up from Flushing Meadows, the finals of the U.S. Open. Tony Traver along with John Newcomb, Pat Summerall. It's John McEnroe and Yvonne Lendl, and after those 2 grueling 5-setters that McEnroe had against Connors and Lendl had against Cash, they've got to be tired.
Well, they got to be tired, especially McEnroe, because his match was later. He played in the evening, didn't get as much rest as Lendl, but I guarantee you with what's at stake, he'll be ready.
First and 10, Philadelphia. 5:22 left in the football game. Jaworski up top to Spagnuolo. Catches it in the midsection and is bumped out of bounds at the 47.5-yard line. Vito Cab, the other tight end, number 84, ran a crossing pattern. Spagnuolo.
Good situation. 2nd and 4.
Haddix in the backfield with Wilbert Montgomery. Michael Haddix. Good blocking left side of the line by P.D. Perot and Dean Miraldi. Charlie Johnson, the former Eagle, made the tackle.
See, when you use that pass on first down, it creates situations like 2nd and 4, and then you can use the run to pick up the 4 yards to get the first down or come close to the first down.
In the 4th quarter, that is a shocker. It was 21-0 as Brent Musburger had reported, and it's still a 21-point lead. Turn out the lights in Chicago. Next week, Irv Cross will preview that hard-hitting Chicago Bear defense. 3rd and 1. Montgomery almost broke it. Down to the 44 of the Vikings. Carl Lee made the stop. He was the last man.
Spagnuolo was in motion that time, and Montgomery just followed him right through the hole. Pick up the first down. You can see Big John Spagnuolo coming in motion. And Montgomery takes the handoff. Good explosion off the line by the Philadelphia Eagles. Created a lot of real estate upfield for the Philadelphia Eagles and Wilbert Montgomery.
17 carries, 78 yards for Wilbert Montgomery as he approaches Steve Van Buren's all-time Eagle rushing mark. He needs 14 more. 1st and 10, Philadelphia inside of 4 when the ball is snapped. Sprint out, Jaworski underneath, wide open, Spagnuolo. If he could have broken that, he gets inside the 30, hangs on to the football down to the 28. Rob Sendline on the tackle, a 16-yard pickup for the man who plays Santa Claus at the Eagles Christmas party for underprivileged children, John Spagnuolo.
Again, a nice safe pass to throw on first down. You let your tight end work the areas of the zone. Jaworski a little roll out to get more protection. Spagnuolo, big as he is, tough man to bring down.
7 catches, 61 yards for the former Yale Bulldog, their all-time leading pass catcher. And Spagnuolo, of course, not a force last year, out the entire season with that cervical disc. Wilbert Montgomery wrestled down from behind. Great lateral pursuit. That's Charlie Johnson who got over there. But the first man there, 57, Rob Sendline.
Well, now the pressure shifts to the Minnesota Viking defense. They have to rise to the occasion and try to stop these Eagles from getting in the end zone. And the clock is definitely going to be a factor here as we count down towards the 2-minute warning.
2:45 left to play. 2nd and 5 when we come back. Line of scrimmage, the 23 of the Minnesota Vikings. Jaworski mixing up the short pass and the run very effectively right now. But of course the Vikings are thinking pass, so they're a little bit back on their heels. They're not charging with the same intensity. It's more of a semi-prevent. Jackson right, Hoover left. Quick handoff. Haddix knifes his way down to the 21. Rob Sendline on the tackle. Eagles getting a little conservative as well.
Well, Jim, they ran the ball that time because they feel they're in the 4-down territory. They feel that they can use 4 downs to pick up 10 yards in this situation. Even if they don't make the first down here on 3rd down, they'll probably go for it on 4th down. So they have 2 downs here to make 3 yards.
3rd and 3 when we come back. Campbell will talk things over with his quarterback Ron Jaworski. Eagles trail by 5. Still lots of football.
This is today's Chevrolet.
This is exciting.
Eurosport.
The new front drive Celebrity Eurosport. Special F41 sport suspension straightens out curves in a car that looks as special as it feels.
Eurosport.
Move into more celebrity. Eurosport, a touch of Europe at a Chevrolet price.
That's a great touch.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Look what the computer wizards at Apple have come up with now. It has the power of these 2 computers, a built-in disk drive. It can run over 10,000 different programs. You get everything you need to hook it right up to your TV. You can even add a mouse. Introducing the Apple IIc. Now comes the real magic. You can take it home for under $1,300.
Drew Pearson, Jim Kelly, our time remaining. The situation, Minnesota leads by 5. The man with a hat on, and you know he's not coming back in, is Mike Quick. And this is the part of the football game you know Jaworski would like to have him in there.
That's right. There's so many things Mike Quick can do. You put him in motion. You isolate him on linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties. He puts a threat to the defense, but he's not in there. We got a 3rd and 3. 2 minutes to go.
From the shotgun. Flood formation left side. Jackson is outside. Hoover is inside. Inside handoff to Montgomery. He's got 2 blockers in front of him. Inside the 20 to the 15 to the 10. Montgomery to the 7.
Good-looking football play. Many times you don't see a team running from the shotgun formation. But that time they gave the inside handoff to Montgomery, and he followed his blockers around the corner and picked up 15 yards and a record.
Maraldi and Perot were the blockers. It's a 15-yard gain, 19 carries, 98 yards for Wilbert Montgomery, and he has just broken Steve Van Buren's all-time Eagle rushing record, and the crowd sees it up on the scoreboard. Wilbert Montgomery, a standing ovation here in Philadelphia.
He deserves it. One of the great backs to play in the National Football League, Wilbert Montgomery.
That's Jim Tunney giving him the game ball. And a class athlete.
Come out and take a bow, Wilbert. You deserve it. Take a bow. Now to make it sweeter, they need to pull out this victory.
Line of scrimmage, the 6-yard line. 1st and goal, Philadelphia. 1:33 left to go. Now the Eagles, obviously, Drew, they would like to score. They must score the touchdown. Do you want to score that touchdown? Let's take another look at Wilbert's play. Watch the blocking here by Maraldi, 64, Perot, 62.
They sped it up a little, but Montgomery gets in there, and boy, he's tough to bring down once he gets a head of steam going.
1st and goal from the 6. Haddix in with Andre Hardy. Jaworski, pitch back to Andre Hardy. Haddix with a block. Hardy cuts it back. Down to the 2. Go back to my question. Do you want to score that touchdown as quickly as possible? The Vikings then would have about 45 seconds with Jan Stenerud for a field goal that could win it.
Well, you got to go for it, and they're in a situation now where they have to score regardless of the time, and you can't play with the clock The main thing is to get the ball in the end zone and then let your defense work to stop Tommy Kramer in the Viking offense.
Vito Cab, number 84, checks in at tight end along with Lawrence Sappleton, third year out of Texas. He's in there with Spagnola. So the Eagles have 3 tight ends. They've also got Michael Haddix and Andre Hardy, the rookie from St. Mary's in California. Wilbert Montgomery, who has just broken the Eagles club rushing record, is over on the sideline. Vikings have 2 timeouts left, and the Eagles have 2 timeouts left. This game is going to have a wild finish because if the Eagles get the go-ahead touchdown, you know Jan Stenerud is very, very accurate, and all Tommy Kramer's got to do is work him into field goal range. He's got that 2-minute drill down pretty well.
And Tommy Kramer's a good 2-minute quarterback, and he's got good receivers, good experienced receivers to work the 2-minute drill. And then with a kicker like Jan Stenerud, veteran experience, been in situations like that before, he knows what to do.
About 120 miles away at Flushing Meadow, John McEnroe and Yvonne Lendl facing off. It's the men's singles final, the U.S. Open Tennis Championships, and we'll be going there with Pat Summerall at the conclusion of this football game. Second and goal from the 1. 3 tight ends are in there, along with Andre Hardy, 47, Michael Haddix. Andre Hardy almost lost the football. You talk about a collision. Eagles are lucky he didn't cough it up there.
That's right.
Pearson almost jumped out of the booth.
Boy, that was a hit there. Is that Studwell?
Studwell and Dennis
Scott
Johnson.
Studwell. He lays some lumber here. Watch, Hardy thinks about diving, and Studwell's reading him all the way and catches him in midair and says, no way. Reject.
Mr. Studwell beat Mr. Hardy.
That's
Advantage
right.
Studwell.
I would kind of get Montgomery in there. I would be a little skeptical of having a rookie in this situation.
3rd and 1. 3 tight ends for the Eagles. Pitch back to Hardy. Hardy pulls down to the line of scrimmage. Maybe gets a half yard with 15, 14, 13, and quickly a timeout. It'll be that far. About a half a yard.
Excuse me, Jim. Where's Wilbur Montgomery?
Exactly.
I would have to have him in this situation.
He does not
He's
even
the
have
money
his
man.
helmet on.
That's right. He's the money man. He got him down here. Let him take it in for us.
Studwell comes over. Watch Studwell. 55.
Studwell, he sits back there and he reads, and then he creates some penetration. Just throws himself in there to make the play. And he gets good pursuit by the rest of the Viking defense.
Ron Jaworski over conferring with Ted Marchibroda, the new offensive coordinator. You liked the call on 3rd and 7 before with that shovel pass to Montgomery that set all this up. And, of course, number 55, Scott Studwell, over conferring with Les Steckel on the defensive side of things.
I'll tell you what I like in this situation, Jim. I like a rollout by Jaworski. That way it creates a running situation. If he has an opening, he can run the ball in. He only needs less than a yard. And if he doesn't, he can dump it off to a tight end or a running back coming out of the backfield.
Haddix checks out along with the rookie Andre Hardy. Number 34, Hubie Oliver is in, and he will block for Wilbert Montgomery. Montgomery is back in. That was the roar from the crowd. Now, do you use Montgomery as a decoy and try to sneak Hubie Oliver in, figuring they're keying on Montgomery?
Well, whatever I would try would be a sweep or a rollout to the outside. Would not try the middle. Scott Studwell,
fourth in the ball game. Gang tackling by the Vikings. Penalty flag is down. This play is not over. It is against the Minnesota Vikings, I believe. Vito Cab was jumping up, indicating penalty against the Vikings. Here's Jim Tunney.
Oh, wow. It's against the Vikings.
Vito Cab was correct.
5 yards, face mask against the defense, penalized end of the run.
Face mask against the Minnesota Vikings. 7 seconds remain. The Eagles have 1 timeout. Do you think that former Marine is not ready to suit up himself?
No, it's got to hurt. That's got to hurt. Penalty in that situation.
Watch the face mask as Montgomery sets it up because Wilbert just keeps on fighting. Now he's caught behind the line of scrimmage here. Studwell comes crashing through. Montgomery, though, breaks that tackle. That's the elusiveness of Wilbert Montgomery. Now watch him see if we can pick up the face mask.
Well, the second effort there caused the action. There it is. Right. Well, haven't seen it yet.
5 yards, face mask is penalized from the end
Maybe
of the run,
before that.
which is the 2-yard line, half the distance
And
of the
of
goal
course,
line, first
the
down
key
on the 1-yard line.
element of that penalty is first down. Now, you've got 7 seconds, so they've got 2 plays. If they don't score, because Philadelphia's got 1 timeout remaining. Just a second ago, it was 4th and less than a yard for the football game. It's now 1st and goal. Philadelphia with 1 timeout left.
Well, they're asking a lot of the Viking defense in this situation. They got Montgomery out of the game. Excuse me, Jim.
Andre Hardy is 47. He's the running back along with Hubie Oliver. Jaworski bends in. Play action. Jaworski can run. Jaworski dumps off. Spagnola! Look at Jaworski at the 40-yard line of Philadelphia. He's all the way at the other end of the field.
It's pandemonium here at the bench.
Jaworski threw the ball. As soon as Spagnola caught it, Jaworski ran backwards 60 yards. He was all the way halfway to the tunnel.
He took off the other way.
Spagnola has the football. 8 catches, 62 yards, 1 touchdown, a personal best. Jaworski, 27 of 37, 240 yards, and the winning touchdown with 2 seconds left. Tough loss for the Vikings. Their defense had played so well.
Tough loss. And that goal line stand was just remarkable. You very seldom see a stand like that to finish out a ball game and have it all erased by a penalty. God, it's got to hurt your ball club. They are a dejected bunch, the Minnesota Vikings. And on the other side of the coin, the Philadelphia Eagles, it's got to give them a big boost.
18-17, Philadelphia. 2 Youngstown State Penguins. Jaworski holds for Paul McFadden, and it's a 2-point Philadelphia lead. 2 seconds remain. Let's take a look at the touchdown toss. Jaworski, play action fake to Hubie Oliver. And watch.
Excuse me, Jim. This is the type of play I would have called on that last 4th down situation. How close can you get to getting the quarterback and not get him? And Spagnola made sure he had that one. He looked it all the way in that time. Johnny Swain is
great
on
touch
that
on the ball for Ron Jaworski, who sometimes is much maligned here in Philadelphia. He waited for number 88 Spagnola to clear, threw it over John Swain, and that was the winning touchdown. Don't forget, tennis is coming up in just a couple of seconds. We've got 2 seconds left in this football game. Then you'll see Pat Summerall, John McEnroe, and Yvonne Lendl. Tonight on CBS After the Tennis, 60 minutes in its entirety. The boys in blue, the Jeffersons, Alice Trapper, John M.D. Tennis is next, and that should be a great match, and Pat Summerall will have it for you. John McEnroe, the number 1 seed, against number 2, Yvonne Lendl.
Well, Jim, we've seen just about everything today. You think we'll see a kickoff return at this last 2 seconds by the Vikings?
I would anticipate a squib kick. They're not going to kick anything too high.
I wouldn't kick it too far either.
Minnesota had regained command of the football game with 2 late 4th quarter touchdowns. A pass from their rookie running back Alfred Anderson to Tommy Kramer. Anderson ran it in from 1 yard out. Here's the squib kick. Clock will start as it's touched. Boom at the 42. Time has expired. The Philadelphia Eagles have defeated the Minnesota Vikings by 2 points. It's been a dandy. The Eagles by 2 against Minnesota. We'll be back in a moment.
No company can simply deliver a computer and feel it has delivered on the promise of office automation. At Wang, we provide service and support along with our computers so that the people who use them will always be able to perform to their fullest potential. Wang, we put people in front of computers.
Eureka! I have solved the mystery of the long-lasting Owens-Corning roof shingles. They have a heart of pink fiberglass. So, they have a Class A fire rating. And they do not absorb moisture. So that is the secret of the long-lasting roof shingles.
Owens Corning. Our building products put your house in the pink.
Jim Kelly and Drew Pearson back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. A tough loss for the Minnesota Vikings, whose defense played so very well. Philadelphia rebounded with that 2-point win in a game that seesawed back and forth entirely late in the fourth quarter. It was a battle of field goals early. Philadelphia had 4 and Minnesota had just 1. The executive producer of CBS football, the NFL on CBS for the second consecutive Emmy-winning season, Terry O'Neill. Today's game produced by Ed Gorin. Our senior producer, of course, is Chuck Milton III, and today's game directed by Bob Dunphy. And the rest of the people who bring you the sights and sounds and share in that second straight Emmy, the television industry's highest award. Congratulations to all. It's been a good one here in Philadelphia. We mentioned it was 12-3, Eagles on top until midway through that fourth quarter, and then 2 Minnesota touchdowns gave the Vikings a lead that they relinquished with just 2 seconds left on the clock. Jaworski, a touchdown pass to tight end number 88 John Spagnola, and that was the winning difference. So for Drew Pearson, I'm Jim Kelly saying so long from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The final score, the Philadelphia Eagles 19, the Minnesota Vikings 17. Coming up next, live coverage of the U.S. Open Tennis Championship, the men's singles finals between number 1 seed John McEnroe and Yvonne Lendl from Flushing Meadows, New York. Pat Summerall and the CBS tennis crew will have that action coming up next. It's tennis. As we remind you, you've been watching live CBS sports coverage of the National Football League.
Fly the friendly skies of United, serving more of the nation's top 100 business centers than anyone.
You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
Be sure to watch a fascinating edition of 60 Minutes, the popular television news magazine that features Mike Wallace, Morley Safer, Harry Reisner, and Ed Bradley this evening on CBS.